You know how when you're little, you make all these decisions and do all of these things that were kind of strange, and then when you're older, you look back on all those things that you did, and you're not really sure why you did them or why you liked doing those things? Well, I'm having that moment right now because I've played this game about 6 or 7 times all the way through, but I did it when I was little. And now here I am again as a grown man, and I have no idea why I enjoyed this game. As far as games are concerned, it's not very good. I mean, even for the time, it wasn't all that great. And as far as RPGs are concerned, it's pretty shitty. But I really did enjoy it as a kid, and now I'm gonna play through it again, and you guys get to watch, and I'm sure I'm not gonna have any fun, but you guys hopefully will, because this game's dude. Like, damn. Anyway, without further ado, here we go. Quest 64. Well, after all that very engaging and exciting exposition, we know what the game's all about. Well, not really, because we have no idea what the hell we're gonna be doing, and we have no idea what's actually going on. Except for that there was like a book that got stolen or some shit, and now we have to go find it maybe. We'll see. We'll see. See, that comes next. This is now, that's then, that's later. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the game. And, the game's gonna start us off in perhaps the dumbest place of all time. The top of a giant tower. So here's the Grand Abbot, and he's gonna tell us that we shouldn't go, but our guy doesn't say anything, and apparently we're gonna go anyway. After our father, Lord Bartholomew, who went after the book as a grown-ass man. He's like a super powerful spellcaster, but apparently he can't handle his own shit, so we have to go deal with it for him. That's where we get led into the game, and we get through this really, really engaging dialogue that is pink for some reason. And then we will head out of the monastery of the Grand Abbot and his thing with his peeps and his homeboys, and we'll get underway. Maybe. We'll maybe get underway. Oh my god, thank you. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna notice is that the controls are floaty as all hell, because this game is a masterpiece. And we're gonna walk down some stairs. And then we're gonna go through this room and walk down some more stairs. Yeah, I know. It's great. I'll see you guys at the bottom. Alright, so the next thing this game does, as soon as you get down those stairs, is give you all these little rooms to explore. And it makes the game look like there's a lot of deep, rich, and interesting lore, except that's not true at all. There is almost nothing of value in this entire monastery. There are 2 places you can go that give you things that are actually going to be useful later in the game. The first one's the courtyard, which gives you dewdrops, and they give you mana, and the second one's the kitchen, and they give you bread, and that gives you health. The rest of the stuff in this monastery is useless. All the interactions, all the dialogue, all of that, you don't need it. You can just move right along. Alright, now that we're out of the monastery, we're on our own. Unfortunately, because of the size and scope of this game, that's a bad thing. We weren't really given any direction as to where we're supposed to go. The first thing I'm going to want to do is head over to the left so that I can get the first spirit wisp thing. You collect them because they're littered around the world and they improve your magic ability. They're really useful, but hard to spot because of the way the game's graphics are designed. You always spec into water first, every single time, no matter what you're doing, because the water one gives you the healing spell. Once you have the healing spell, you probably are never going to die again. After that, we can head into the city and do the only important things there actually are to do, of which there are 3. Number 1, break into this poor dude's house and steal his bread. Number 2, walk around behind the old dude's house and find the second spirit wisp thingy. And number 3, go to this old dude's place where he gives me some magic wings that will let me fly back to the monastery if I ever get in trouble again. Which I probably will never use. And that's it. That's literally all there is to do in the city. You can walk around and explore it, but you won't find anything. All of the dialogue is flat and boring, and everyone just tells you the same thing over and over and over again. It's dangerous outside the city walls. I know. That's why I'm going on my quest, girl. I know. Alright, so we have our stuff. I guess we'll head out of the town and off towards our first real adventure. Once we're outside the city walls, we'll get to see some real combat, some real adventure. We'll fight dangerous enemies, perilous foes, and brave the greatest dangers. But first, we have to fight these things. Werehairs, ladies and gentlemen, the most feared creature in the entire realm. Capable of killing a man in a single fell stroke. There's only one way to properly vanquish a creature such as this. With thy holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Amen. Amen. Right. 1, 2, 5. Freezer. 3.
Perfect. And now that they're defeated, we're free to move on. To face greater dangers and greater foes. And fortunately, we won't have to face anything that nasty again. Oh, come on, really? Well, I don't have any more holy hand grenades. I guess I'll just beat them to death with this stick. That should work, right? Okay, so after the first turn in the road, the combat actually gets a little bit more interesting. The first area has a lot of different types of monsters for you to fight, and each of them has something to do with the 4 elements. It's a really good setup to introduce you to all the kinds of combat and all the monsters you're going to be facing later in the game. And while none of them are particularly difficult to kill, anything's better than werehairs, let's be honest. Also, can I just take a sidebar before we do anything else important? And just... I can't get over his hair. I mean, no one's hair does that, ever. It's not a thing. That's not a thing that happens, that people do. I mean, oh my god, his hair annoys me so much. It just sticks out. He's like a quail. He's like an annoying magical quail with a red cape. And I don't know how I feel about that. It's just not, I'm not okay with it. I'm really not. And I think the big problem with it is the fact that he looks like he's out of some freaky anime, even though this is like an RPG game. Albeit it is stylized like a JRPG, all the art looks like a JRPG. But I don't know how people can justify having him look like an anime girl with giant boob physics going on, because all anime girls with crazy boob physics have that kind of hair, and he does that. He's like 10, and he's a dude. Anyway, I should stop talking about it before I kill myself and have an aneurysm. Okay, sidebar over. Let's get back to the actual gameplay now. We faced a few kinds of enemies so far. We faced the werehairs and the hellhounds, which were the fire dogs, and right now we're fighting a bombershoot and a parasol. In my opinion, these two creatures together are the toughest encounter you get in the first area, because the parasol can freeze you, while the bombershoot beats you to death with fire, and you can't move.
I mean, you can still cast magic from far away, but you don't do very much damage yet with it, so it's really, really difficult, especially because you're fighting water and fire at the same time. Fortunately for us, however, we almost have 7 points in the water tree, and when we get there, we'll have the healing spell. After I pick up the first wisp here, we'll have 6, and then we need to get into another encounter or get to the next section with a spirit wisp before we get the healing spell. After that, I'll have full health pretty much the entire time we play this game, which is nice, because I don't like dying. If you die in this game, it resets you all the way to the last place you saved, which is where you like sleep in an inn, and you can lose literally like 10 hours of progress that way, because there are some sections of this game that are really long and there's nowhere to save in between point A and point B, and it's total bullshit. Off in the distance there, you can see that we're approaching Dondoran. It's just around that mountain that's in front of us, so we're going to be walking for quite a while yet. But the fortune teller's house is up there, and after we kill these dogs, we should be able to get the last spirit wisp that'll give us the healing spell. And fortunately for us, the dogs won't last long. Actually, wow, they really didn't. And conveniently, we get the healing spell before we get to the fortune teller's house, which means that I can heal up now instead of later, and we can continue specking into water to improve our healing magic after we get there. Now, the fortune teller, you'd think we'd finally get some relevant information about what's going to be going on in this game, but we don't, and it sucks because the fortune teller doesn't tell you anything that you don't already know or can infer from the fact that you're playing an RPG about a quest to recover artifacts of the 4 elements and save some dude with another magic artifact. Literally, you go in there, right? And she goes, "Let me see your future, not blah 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 blah. Ah yes, I can see your destiny lies at the end of the longest road." Duh! This is an RPG, where else would my destiny lie? Like really, like come on, like think about it. What RPG doesn't have your destiny as the main character ending at the end of the longest road? None of them, because that happens in every RPG. The longest road can be literal, it can be metaphorical, it can be emotional or spiritual, but it is there, and you travel the whole darn thing throughout the course of the game, and this lady has the audacity to be like, "Oh, guess what you're gonna be doing?" We know! We know! We know, don't insult us, lady. Don't insult us. And I feel like my big problem with that is that we have nothing to go on yet. Like, we have been given this very vague plot, and since it's an RPG, my desire is for it to be expounded upon and expanded, and for there to be a lot of deep and rich meaning behind it, and that just isn't here. So, it's frustrating, because when you get to a fortune teller, they should tell you something vague and cryptic, yes, but something that will come back to make a lot of sense by the time you get to the end. And it's just not even a thing that she does well, because she tells you something that you should know as soon as you turn the game on. Whatever, at least I don't have to deal with that stupid fortune teller anymore. Alright, so that's the end of the first part of this playthrough. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see part 2 later on sometime next week, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate the support, and you'll be able to see more of me ranting angrily at this game that I used to love. And actually, I'm having a hard time hating it right now. It's just frustrating me to no end. So, that concludes it. Thanks for tuning in, guys.